Stephanie, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to She Loves Tech Kenya. We're so excited to have everyone joining us today. And I want to kick off by inviting Rhea, who is the co-founder of She Loves Tech, to kick us off.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rhea. I'm the co-founder of She Loves Tech, and I would like to welcome everyone here today who's watching us from everywhere in coming to and supporting our startups here today. She Loves Tech is the world's largest startup competition for women and technology. Since 2015, we have been championing the best entrepreneurs and technologies through education and mentorship, working closely with our partners, whether they're funds, accelerators, communities, to solve the funding gap for women, because we believe that this combination is key to solving the world's greatest challenges. And to date, we are present in over 30 countries with 2,000 over alumni startups, some of which have raised over $150 million US. This year's competition is especially exciting for us, as not only are we expanding to 30 countries and across 6 continents, it's also our very first time going completely virtual, which is a very novel experience, I would have to say. But it also makes the entire competition, the upcoming boot camp, the semifinals, the finals, and the conference, which our winner today will be able to participate in, more global than ever. We will be curating sessions that will allow a unique window to different ecosystems from all over the world, whether it's China, the US, Europe, and more, as well as access to investors and tech leaders. So to the startups today, congratulations for being selected to pitch. And whether you win or not, we hope that this journey has been fruitful so far. And we invite all of you, including our audience here today, to join us across all the remaining rounds until the final conference on November 21st and 22nd. Now, before I hand back the mic to our host, Stephanie, please allow me to share some clips to our finals in our conference last year.
Rhea, there's no sound.
I'm sorry. Technical difficulties. Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to She Loves Tech 2019. You are now a part of the largest women in tech startup competition in the world.
Over 80% of our 70,000 teachers are female, and I just feel fortunate that I'm working with them every day. Today, they are working on this innovative technology platform. The moms, now they feel so happy with this global teaching service that they're able to obtain on the VIP Kit platform.
在很多女性的创业者身上看到很多的闪光的地方，这是不是一个好的创业者？他其实是男性女性没有关系，也不要去贴这样的标签。每个时代都会有自己的创业公司，只不过他用不同的形式在。其实今天需要你不光是有自己一个 truly believe 的想法，有一个 vision， 你还得有 step by step 每件事情都做到对的这样的一个执行力。
Thank you, and back to you, Steph.
Watching that video makes me so nostalgic. It's been incredible to be a part of the She Loves Tech journey all of these years and seeing how it's grown. And I think that doing this online, even though it's not the same as getting onto a stage and pitching, there's something really incredible about accessibility and engagement in a different way by being online. So I'm really excited to see all the pitches. And so before further ado, I'm gonna ask all the judges, our wonderful, illustrious panel of judges, to quickly introduce themselves. We already know Rhea, who is the co-founder of She Loves Tech. And then we're gonna kick off with Kanina Foss, who's the COO of Anza Capital.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, and good morning, everyone. Well, it's morning for me here in Cape Town. Anza Capital is a Southern Africa-based venture fund. We are part of a broader group which takes an ecosystem approach to supporting entrepreneurs. We also have the largest tech startup event in Africa. It's the South Africa Innovation Summit. We have a research and management consultancy which provides post-investment business development support. And then Anza Capital provides the link in this ecosystem approach where we allocate capital to early stage, primarily female-led businesses. So we take a gender focus, not only because we believe it is important from an impact point of view, but because we just believe it makes business sense. Female entrepreneurs outperform men on every on every metric. So we really believe they're an outperforming, but very, you can say, underlooked asset class. And we aim to change that by changing the representation of women in the decision-making seat. So I'm very glad to be here this morning. Thank you again for having me, and looking forward to hearing the pitches.
Welcome from Cape Town. Though I'm sure the weather there, it looks very sunny from the back. Great. Next we have Ashwin. I'm gonna pronounce your last name wrong. I am sorry in advance. My dear friend Ashwin Ravichandran. Am I at least a little close? Okay, cool. Can you give us your intro?
Yeah, it's a little bit early for me actually. It's 7 a.m. So time difference definitely does not affect. So I'm having a cup of coffee. My name is Ashwin Ravichandran. I'm the managing director of MEST Africa. MEST Africa is a training program, seed fund, and hub network, which was set up by Jorn Lysigan, who's also the founder of Meltwater, which is a multi-million-dollar company currently running out of Silicon Valley in London. We focus on really early stage entrepreneurs. We try to bring in the talent play. We try to bring in a lot of people coming in together and actually forming teams to actually solve problems. Where MEST Africa is, we've invested in about 60 plus businesses as of right now, under which we're managing 40 companies currently based out of Ghana and Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, and Ivory Coast. Yeah, thank you, Steph.
Thank you so much, Ashwin. Drink up that coffee because there's a lot of great content that is coming our way. And then next we have Nekesa, also apologize in advance, who is the Director of Strategy at AfriLabs. Nekesa?
Thanks, Stephanie. Nekesa, exactly how it's spelled. There's no surprises. So yes, I am Director of Strategy at AfriLabs, which is a Pan-African organization of hubs. We currently have a membership of 225 hubs spread across 47 African countries. We focus on supporting our hubs to be a better support structure for the entrepreneurs in their countries. We do this in 4 ways. One is through our capacity building program, which offers localized content for the hubs and entrepreneurs so they can begin to build resilient innovation or support resilient innovation for Africa. 2, we do it through the networks. And so we have great partners from the AU to UNDP to Mozilla and several others who, whenever possible, we make connections to our hubs. Three, we do it through reliable data. And so we do a pretty good job of collecting data that's relevant to our hubs and entrepreneurs that supports them in making decisions to make their work better. And then finally, we do it through funding. And so we recently just announced funding for 17 of our hubs and hoping to make it bigger as time goes by. And we are about to roll out in collaboration with the French Development Agency and the Africa Business Angel Network, a Catalyst Fund, which will be funding going to support startups and hubs that support those startups. Yeah, so incredibly excited to be here.
Thanks so much, Nekesa. You're totally right. Say exactly how it's spelled. Wonderful. And Rhea, you're good. Is there anything else you want to add about your background?
No, I think I'm good. I've already explained a lot earlier. So yeah, very, very glad to be here. Very excited to bring the competition again back to, the region.
Perfect. I'm really excited because very rarely do I see a panel of judges that is significantly more women than men, and so even that for me is really exciting. And thank you so much for judges for being here, for giving your early or your late time. These startups are here to impress, and I'm sure we won't be disappointed. So we're gonna jump into our pitches now. The way the format works is that each startup will get 5 minutes to pitch and 3 minutes for Q&A from each one of the judges. We're gonna ring a bell 3 times just for everyone to know, for the 4-minute mark and then the 5-minute mark, and then also the 3-minute mark during the Q&A as a signal for everyone who is listening, watching, and cheering the startups on. Unfortunately, we are going to be enforcing that 5-minute rule in order to pitch. And so I will have to be rude in some cases and cut the presenters off if necessary. So without further ado, we've 10 startups. So we hope that everyone can stay for the entire time. And the first startup is going to be Flare with Maria Rabonovich. Oh, sorry, my mistake. There's been some moving around of the different startups. Actually, actually, we're going to start off with Abiria Payments with Narika Kaguru.
Hi everyone, can everybody hear me?
Yep, you're good. We can hear and see you loud and clear.
Okay.
Your time starts whenever you start talking.
Okay. Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Narika. I'm a co-founder and design lead at Abiria Payments. Every day in Kenya, over 1.5 million people use public transport to get to school, to get to work, or to get to their places of business. At Abiria, we're working on a solution that will enable the cashless fare collection for SACCOs and all the industry players within the public transport sector. I'm sure we've all had that experience where you get into a matatu and the fare is 40 shillings. And as you're halfway through your trip, all of a sudden it rises up to 80 shillings. And really there's nothing much you can do about it because you're already halfway down your trip. Well, unfortunately, this is one of the many challenges that we face as passengers within this industry. And unfortunately, this is not a challenge. The challenge is not only faced by customers, but by all stakeholders within the industry. The operators, the drivers, and the conductors of these vehicles are part of the informal working sector. So for them, they have very regular daily salaries, and it really excludes them out of the financial services, out of getting financial services. So they have no access to affordable credit, and hence it's very difficult for them to plan their lives, and they constantly live hand to mouth. Finally, we have the SACCOs, who run the entire system. And for them, a cash-based industry means that they suffer a lot of fraud and theft from their operators. Now, this fraud and theft means that they have very inaccurate financial records. And because they have very inaccurate records, it's very difficult for them to get access to the formal credit market. So As you can see, all of the players in this industry suffer very huge challenges just around the cash-based nature of this business. As Abiria, we're trying to work to develop a solution that will enable the digital transformation of the public transport sector, not in Kenya alone, but across Africa. We hope that by enabling this industry to adopt smarter public transport services, we'll be able to increase and enhance their profitability in the long run. So what is Abiria? Well, we offer a three-part solution, and each solution is aimed at each key stakeholder in the industry. For a passenger to use Abiria, they would enter into a matatu. They would see a sticker that indicates the license plate of the vehicle. Once they enter the vehicle and they've seen the sticker, they can open the app, enter the license plate, select the origin and destination of where they want to go, and then confirm the trip details. Upon paying, which they can do through M-Pesa, their cards, and we're also working on a few bank integrations, they then receive a receipt. Using that receipt, they can confirm to the conductor that they've made their payment. Now, for the operators, we also offer an app and USSD. And with this app, they're able to see all the transactions and the fare payments coming through in real time. They're also able to open these receipts and view what's happened and view the unique reference number associated with the payment. Additionally, to enable them to have access to funds that they need on a daily basis, we also allow them to have a wallet function where we set limits based on what SACCO has given us, and they're still able to withdraw daily funds for their daily living expenses. And finally, we have the SACCOs and owners, and for them, we offer a management dashboard. On this dashboard, they can see all the transactions happening in real time. They can manage their fare prices, depending on peak and off-peak situations, and also download accurate financial reports, which will enable them to then access the formal credit markets to help them grow their business. So what does this industry look like in terms of numbers? Well, in Kenya alone, we have over 200,000 public service vehicles, and these vehicles can on average earn up to $250 every single day. So it's not a surprise that this industry is estimated to make over $2 billion every single year. So how does Abiria make money out of our solution? We offer three models, which we offer to the SACCOs. The first model is a pay-as-you-go model. And with the pay-as-you-go model, we charge 2 cents for every single transaction executed through Abiria. Secondly, we have a flat fee model. And for this model, we charge $2.50 for every vehicle onboarded onto Abiria on a daily basis. And finally, we have the percentage-based model, where we charge 1% of gross daily revenues generated for every vehicle through Abiria. We launched our business in July of 2020 after taking over 2 years to work with stakeholders in the industry to ensure that the products that we are offering meet their expectations and their needs. As of today, we have over 500 downloads and 350 active users within Nairobi. We've been able to onboard 50 vehicles covering approximately 4 routes within Nairobi. So far, we've been able to have 2,000 transactions go through Abiria, and the total amount of fare that has gone to Abiria is approximately $1,500 US dollars. And we've been able to reach out to 2 SACCOs who have agreed to give us access to their vehicles, and we still have 5 in the sales pipeline that we're still in talks with.
Thank you so much. We're at time. You'll have an opportunity to continue with answering questions from the judges.
Just a comment, I didn't hear the ringing, so maybe we need to fix the buzzers.
Yes, we'll take care of that.
Okay, so I guess I'm open for questions.
Thank you so much, Narika. That was a really interesting pitch. I have a question around logistics, passenger logistics. So when you get on a bus, the exchange of money is quite a quick process because you're simply handing over the cash. Have you been able to bring the transaction time down sufficiently that it doesn't cause a backlog when you're trying to board the vehicle?
Yes, so what we do is we allow passengers to make their payments once they're on the vehicle. So similar to cash, you don't pay in advance, you pay once you're sitting in the vehicle. And as we've done a lot of testing, we've found that our process usually takes between 5 and 10 seconds maximum.
Just a follow up to that. So then you have a, I'm assuming a conductor who comes and checks that you've paid.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, two questions.
Sorry. Go for it.
Two questions. One, you spoke about scaling into the rest of Africa. What are your target markets right now? And then two, please speak more about the passenger spend tracking.
Okay, so across Africa, we're looking predominantly at other East African countries. So Uganda, because Uganda is already working, the government is already working on implementing cashless fare payments within the country. So they're implementing policies that will make that a much faster process. And also Rwanda, because Rwanda already has cashless fare payments as a norm. So those would be two markets that we'd be really interested in trying to move into. And the second question was around passenger spend tracking. So unlike other competitors who use cards, because we're using an app, a passenger is able to see how much they're spending on average over a month, a week, and also because through our system, it's a more standardized price, they can also start budgeting. Currently, we're in MVP, but in future, one of the features that we also want to include is offering upfront cash for fare when customers are short on cash. So if you're on a trip and you don't have enough cash, we can then give you the fare for that, and then you can pay us back at a later point.
Yeah. Do you have a team slide? Can we just quickly see the team slide? You don't need to pitch it. Perfect. All right. We actually worked very closely with Data Integrated, and we realized that often Matutu, I think drivers were a little, I think, how to say this, didn't want to get onto technology also because a lot of them were like, skimming from the top from their bosses as well, right? So in that case, like, I just want to really understand that how is it that, I understand that there's a driver, there's a conductor, and I understand that you're giving them access to credit, which is great because I know there's a lot of things here in Ghana and Nigeria as well, which is being done around credit for these guys to buy fuel in the morning, to get ready in the morning, to actually do all those things, etc. But how do you manage the relationship between the owner of the matatu and the driver, or is that something which you guys are not even factoring into, I think, your product?
So what we've done is that we really have a lot of stakeholder engagement. So when we spoke to the operators, one of the main problems was that they were worried about having no access to cash. So with our system, the reason we give them cash up front is so that they still have access to cash. And so when we talk to the owners, we also encourage them to maintain the similar target-based structures they have in place now and work on implementing more sustainable financial behaviors in their employees. So after a few years, they're then able to start putting in 3,000 a day is the maximum that they can withdraw. But by giving the employees access to cash on a daily basis, they seemed less against the system and more willing to try it out. Also, when they learned that there was an opportunity for them to access credit at a more affordable rate.
Okay, we're at time. Thank you so much, judges, and thank you so much, Narika. For our next amazing pitch, we will have Vivian Opondo from Farmula. Your time starts whenever you start speaking. Yeah, and the bell should be fixed now, and so you should be able to get that chime. Narika, you are on mute if you are speaking.
No, I just finished.
Sorry?
Second one, I think it's Farmula, Vivian Opondo.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, from Vivian, sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Vivian. The floor is yours. Please remember to unmute yourself and also to open your camera. And I think we didn't have Vivian here, so we will jump to the third one, which is Flair, Punity Santayo. Thank you.
This is Purity, and I'll be sharing my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep. Time starts when you start speaking.
My name is Purity, and I'm from Flair. Flare is an emergency response platform. Today, I want to start with a story about a boy named Dominic. In 2016, Dominic was just 3 months old. He was being treated for meningitis in one of Nairobi's major hospitals. He needed to be transferred to another facility for intensive care. And as you know, in Nairobi, Dominic's father was asked to look for an ambulance to transfer his son to another facility. He made so many calls to friends and relatives. As he was still in the hospital, the doctors and the nurses were actually helping him look for providers. As we know, this area in the central of Nairobi, there are so many ambulances, and they couldn't get a hold of any. And therefore, after so many hours and so many phone calls, they couldn't get an ambulance for Dominic, and he died. In 2016, in Kenya, you could actually get a pizza by just calling, and you could get it within 30 minutes. You could order an Uber and get connected to a driver within 3 minutes. But then, in this important moment where Dominic's life was on the line, they couldn't get an ambulance. At that time in Nairobi, the average response time for the ambulances was 3 hours. And 57% of the countries in the world do not have a functioning 911 system, which could be one of the reasons. And at that moment, you start asking yourself, how many stories like this happen in the world? How many stories are like Dominic's? At that point, in 2017, 2 amazing ladies, Kathleen and Maria, our amazing co-founders, came together to found Flare. Flare is made up of 3 components. One is the tech. Our tech is really cool. I'm part of the team that works on it. Our tech is resilient, it's usable, it's secured, and you can use it both online and offline. 2 is our provider community. We have brought together a community of more than 1,000 emergency responders, and we have dispatched hundreds of them over time. That is our revenue model, our rescue memberships. As we speak at the moment, we have over 65,000 members and over 200,000 users who are connected using our API. For example, Bolt, all their drivers are connected to us. We have rescued over 5,000 people, and our average response time is just 15 minutes. In fact, last week, we received a call. Jessica from our team was the one on duty that day. She received a call from a lady, let's call her Salome. Salome went into labor. She's 27-year-old and expecting her second baby. This pregnancy was particularly important to her because she lost her first baby during her first pregnancy. When she called at 2 a.m., Jessica responded, and within 4 minutes, there was an ambulance at Salome's door. She was taken to the hospital where the doctors cared for her. Later on, the doctor said that if Salome had delayed going to the hospital, her and the baby wouldn't have made it. All this is made possible by our amazing technology. You can reach Flare platform using either a call, an SMS, or for the members that have integrated with our API, just a press of a button. That is an SOS button, like what Bolt uses at the moment. Behind all this amazing technology, there's a brilliant team behind it from all over the world, but united with one vision, whereby stories like Dominic should never happen again. Because no matter where you are, who you are, Flare is only minutes away. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Purity. And with time to spare, floor is open for the judges.
I can go if I think other people are waiting. Purity, thanks a lot. I think that was such an incredible pitch, and I think you're solving such a pressing problem on the continent. I want to really understand, I think, how the revenue model works. And I want to understand, I think, how you're going to sustain yourself and all the, I think, incredible people who are answering your phone calls as well. I want to understand where the cash comes from. Does it come from the telecom operator? Does it come from the customer? Does it come from the person who you're actually giving relief to? Is it just medical right now is the second question, or you're looking at scaling? And the third question is, I didn't see a team slide. Do you possibly have a team slide somewhere there?
This is our team, our amazing team, and you have two co-founders who are at the top.
Okay. All right, perfect.
For your first question, thank you very much. Those are good questions. For our revenue, we get most of our revenue from our rescue memberships. As I have just said, that we have, at the moment, we have more than 65,000 members who subscribe at a small fee to our membership, and we get to rescue them at no cost at all. Because as we all know, an emergency, you never see it coming. And we have more than 200,000 users connected to us. We have partnered with companies like Bolt, Uber, Sandy, and so many others, many security firms in Kenya. They enroll all their drivers and all their security personnel, of course, at a small fee. And that is how we get our revenue, which at the moment is very sustainable because we have not used even a single shilling in marketing 2 years later. I'm sorry, what was your second question? I hope I have answered your first question.
I think first question is great. I think rescue memberships are awesome. Second question was, is it purely medical? Do you think at some point you can become distress-based as well? Because let's be really honest, crimes against women are increasing on the continent and not decreasing, right? It's actually a very, very pertinent problem right now. In Ghana recently, there was a very big article going about that the girl had called the police and the police refused to pick up, and she was actually getting raped at that time. So like, I think just want to really understand, is it just medical? Are we looking at distress where we can reduce the time from even 15 minutes to 2, 3, 4 minutes as well? So
thank you very much. Yes, we have other packages apart from medical. We do fire, we do security, we do any kind of emergency that would think of. Partners like KK, we is a security company in Kenya. We have partnered for them. They provide us with their security capabilities, and they've also signed in their members for any other medical emergencies that they may have. We cover every single emergency. And for scaling, I see that you've just mentioned Ghana. That's very interesting because we have done a lot of research in Ghana, which we're planning to scale to Ghana probably as early as next year. We have also looked at other countries like Uganda, which is a big prospect, and probably Tanzania. We are very open to scaling at all the African level. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Purity. We are at time. For the next startup, before I start, we're having the noise that was made was supposed to be the bell. It doesn't really sound like a bell, so I do ask the speakers to listen out for it. And then if you keep your chat open, I will also prompt you at 1 minute. And I will also hold up a sign that says 1 minute on my screen so that everyone will be able to see that. Thank you so much, Purity. Okay, great. Next, we have Joyce Kibe from Green Innovation.
Good morning. My name is Joyce Kibe, CEO and co-founder of Green Innovation Ventures Enterprises. I'm seated here with my co-founder. You can't see him, maybe you will see him later. So I will start. Green Innovation Ventures is about access to affordable and intelligent clean energy and appliances in Africa. Sorry. Just a minute. So the problem we are seeking to solve, like this young boy in Kisumu, whose mother is currently our customer, 600 million people in sub-Saharan Africa and 97 million in East Africa have no access to electricity for lighting, cooking, or cooling. And according to Efficiency for Access 2019 report, consumer affordability is the biggest constraint in the growth of the off-grid appliance market. Our co-founders, myself and Jeffrey, I have 8 years of experience in investment management, 3 years of experience in renewable energy, while Jeffrey has 12 years plus in renewable energy and 10 years in rural off-grid electrification. Our vision is we hope to see an Africa that is fully electrified with clean energy for heating, lighting, and for income generation, because we believe that energy is not an end, but a means to an end. And that's why we are also supporting appliances for utilization of energy. We also have permanent staff, 3 permanent staff, solar technician, an IT officer, and a marketing officer who is coupling up as an accountant at the moment. 2 consultants. We have a programmer, a software programmer, an electrical engineer, and 5 sales agents who are on commission basis. So our solution to this issue of affordability of power and appliances is PowerPay. PowerPay was developed out of our own need to sell electricity and energy products and appliances as well. It is a pay-go software solution for energy and appliances. It solves 3 problems, that is affordability, availability, and convenience, by allowing customers to pay for energy and appliances in affordable daily and monthly installments that conveniently paid on mobile platforms like M-Pesa. So key functionalities of PowerPay software is easy integration with our manufacturer's API, generation of tokens for unlocking of the devices, or for unlocking of your power through your meter, mobile money integration for ease of revenue collection with a cash override option, links payment metering systems for the mini-grid clients, settlement straight to the bank for the SAS clients that we hope to start serving, generation of reports and analytics, and it features credit management, such as linked to the Credit Reference Bureau. Our market opportunity at the moment, the total addressable market for pay-go solar systems in Sub-Saharan Africa and Asia Pacific, according to Lighting Global 2020, 670 million people. Total addressable market of off-grid appliances is 521 million people. So the market is huge. Our competition at the moment, we have Anza, Mobisol, and Solaris. Our key differentiator for PowerPay is the ability to onboard many distributors. Our software is actually hardware agnostic, so we present a variety of products to clients, enhanced credit management features, customer acquisition, Android mobile app that we have. And then we are going beyond energy. We are focused on utilization, hence reaching grid-tied customers. Our unfair advantage is that PowerPay IP has been trademarked with Kipi. We are our first users, so product experience. We fully own our product, our software, customer acquisition through our app. And then we are pioneers at the sale of standalone appliances like pay-go laptops, TV, fridges, and even pay TV. Our revenue model, we do 3 things. We sell solar and appliances on pay-go, we do engineering, procurement, and contracting, and we are hoping to start offering software as a service to other distributors of clean energy and appliances as well. In 2019, we did $67,000 US dollars and had a profit after tax of
Thank you, Joyce. We're at time. Floor is open for questions.
Yeah, I'll go first. 2 quick questions. One, there is a pretty significant mobile gender gap. Has this been an issue for you as you roll out your solution? And then 2, with regard to your distributors, what has been the feedback on the technology? Has it been really quick for them to use it, or do you find you need to go back for training and so on? What has your feedback been on the usability?
I think what we have done, first of all, is we have, I would say our sales agents are actually, we have 5 of them who are, 3 of them are women, so, and 2 of them are men. So we usually focus a lot on women and empowerment and creating income for them. So we have trained them, no issues. Our application is available on mobile and even on desktop, so they do not have any issues using our application. Would you like to answer the first one?
Oh, that's the one you got the mobile phone
yes.
And gender.
Yes.
Oh well, the software in terms of reaching customers, a customer doesn't need an Android phone even, because what they get is a token by SMS. So women are not locked out because they don't have the more fancy gadgets. But most of our clients that we have encountered do have access to a mobile phone. And most of our clients, I have to say, at least 50% of them will be women who have directly bought solar home systems or something like that. Yeah.
In fact, one of our technicians is a woman who has been training other women in the technology as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Joyce. Very interesting pitch. I have two questions. Firstly, where are you sourcing your Pego devices? And secondly, where do you buy the power? Which generators are you working with?
We are, at the moment, for the devices, we are working with Schneider Electric and Omnivoltaic. Schneider Electric and Omnivoltaic. For the power, we do our own, in EPC, we do our own mini grids. We develop mini grids ourselves. We actually have a very well-able team that develops mini grids. So yeah, so that's our own, yeah.
Sorry, I'm struggling to hear you a little bit. Did you say that you have your own mini grids?
Yeah, we develop mini grid through our very able technical team. We have, yes, as a contractor. So that solar mini grids. Like recently, we have done one in Pure Island that is servicing about 150 homes, covering about I think 1,000 people, serving 1,000 people on a daily basis, who are paying through our software PowerPay. And then we've also sold these products that we bought from Schneider and Omnivoltaic, and they're paying for these products on a daily basis through our software PowerPay.
Yeah, I don't have any questions actually. It's a straightforward business. Thank you, guys.
Perfect. Thank you, Ashwin. And thank you so much for Joyce for that presentation. Our next company is Kweza Technologies, and Ropa Fadzo Musavari will be presenting.
Perfect. Morning, everyone. Let me just get my screen on. Right then. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ropa. I am the co-founder and CEO of Kweza Technologies. We are a last mile distribution solution for informal retail. So, informal retail and informal business in general are critical across the continent because they support livelihoods of millions across the continent. In fact, at least 90% of all retail in Africa still looks something like this. And in South Africa, at least 40% of all food spent is still done so at establishments such as these. However, the informal traders have a few challenges. Sandile, for example, on a typical week would lose anything between 4 to 5 hours each time he goes out to purchase his stock from suppliers. If he chooses to purchase from only one supplier as opposed to multiple, he would lose anything between 10 to 15% on each order. On top of that, he pays a premium for his delivery as he's going out to buy stock alone. So he has low buying power as well as limited visibility to the best available price in the market. We provide a service that enables informal traders to order products and receive delivery directly to store. At its core, our solution aggregates pricing at a wholesale level, ensuring that each time our customers order via our mobile application, they're doing so at the best price. We then facilitate delivery through our third-party delivery drivers directly to store. There is an estimated 95,600 spaza shops across South Africa, and we believe we can capture 20% of this market, valued at about 183 million. This is based on each store ordering an average basket of $320 at least 2.5 times a month. We're currently charging a 2% commission on each order, as well as a flat delivery fee. This has worked well initially, but we want to do more. And in order to achieve this, we're looking to shift to a warehousing model that will enable us to have greater control over our operations and pricing. And beyond that, it will also allow us to improve our margins to between 10 to 15%. We're also looking to incorporate market data and insights to provide our suppliers. As in any valuable market, we do have competitors, Zande, Shopit, and Vuleka being our main competitors. At the core, we are all distributing to informal. Beyond that, Zande and Vuleka focus on working capital, while Shopit focuses on brand data. We're already providing all of these, but beyond that, we are providing an efficient and reliable service where our customers get their deliveries on time and in full as far as possible. Over 480 times, our 65 customers have said yes to our service, each time ordering an average basket of about $390, bringing our gross revenue over the last 12 months to $151,000. And this is based on just doing 3 delivery days, as we want to increase drop density. We are happy about these results, but we're excited and we want to do more. In order to achieve this, we're looking for partners who will help us with route to market, as well as partnerships within their networks, and beyond that, $1 million to achieve 2 main goals: shift to a warehousing model, as well as expand our customer base. By 2021, we look to be present in at least 6 townships with 400 customers and 850,000. And by 2022, an additional 2 provinces with 1,400 additional customers. So the real $1 million question is, why us? Why Kweza? Well, we're a passionate team, passionate about the growth of small business. We're an experienced team, having worked across retail, logistics, supply chain, fintech, and payments. We've built and managed several products. So we are equipped and excited to solve this challenge. So why not join us and help us formalize, digitize, and grow informal business? Thank you.
Thank you so much. The floor is open for questions.
Yeah, I work with this team very closely, so I'm going to pass it over to, I think, Kanina and Nekesa, please.
Thank you so much. I'll jump in. Thank you very much for the pitch. I have a question around your growth model. As you correctly identified, you have a number of competitors in this space. Beyond the efficiencies which you identified as being your competitive advantage, what marketing strategies are you employing to capture that 20% market slice that you're aiming for? And then secondly, I think to a large extent, the leader in this market will be the company that can scale the fastest across the continent. What are your plans for scaling?
Okay. Very good questions. So I think from what we've realized, it's really the relationship that you have with the customers, because the value of this market, like you correctly mentioned, is the people and the customer themselves. So I think our unique advantage also helps us to build valuable relationships with these customers. So one of the strategies we'll be using is obviously making use of the customers who are already within our base to acquire more customers, so referrals. Partnerships will also be very valuable within our space. So building partnerships with communities of these sponsor shops, as well as other organizations that support them or already work in this informal structure, will also be one of the strategies that we're using. And beyond that, we are looking to sort of more divide the way that traditional sales agents are used, again, within this market, working with both our delivery drivers as sort of people who will help champion us acquiring more customers.
Yeah, I'm curious, especially since you don't have the warehouse yet, how you're managing the quick deliveries. Do you have specific partners that you go to for all the products?
Yeah, so at the moment, we are working with the warehousing, with the wholesalers. So we are working with predominantly four wholesalers at the moment. So we then go and purchase. We've got some guys who are working within the wholesale, so packers, who then ensure that we pack on time and we deliver to our team. But I think where we found, we obviously want to increase that value that we are able to provide to our customers. So that's why we want to shift to this warehousing model, because it will give us greater control, especially over those operations, and ensuring that we can provide a seamless service to our customers.
Are you currently operating in South Africa only?
Yes, so we are currently predominantly based in South Africa at the moment. We do have expansion plans, but probably after year 2 or year 3, because I think the market in South Africa still has quite a bit of opportunity, and we really want to sort of tap and make the most of that market initially.
Any other questions? You have time for one more? No? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Rhea, for your presentation. Next, we have LV Digital with Lisa Vadira.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Just 1 second. Yep, can everybody see the image, the presentation?
Yep. And time starts when you start talking.
Right? Can I start?
Yes, absolutely.
Hi everyone, my name is Lisa. I'm founder of Academia Nzoji. I used to teach kite surfing to poor kids in Angola. And from this experience, I have discovered that talent is distributed everywhere, but access to equal opportunities are not. Can you imagine a life without learning? The problem comes when you imagine that being born and not having any opportunity to have access to education at any level. Imagine not knowing how to do something as basic as switching on and off a computer. The problem we face is knowledge and skills inequality. There is an urgent need to improve the access to education in Angola. As unimaginable this is, the story of millions of our people due to a 27-year of civil war we have witnessed. As a result, a recent study done by the World Bank did reveal that a child born in our country today can only reach 30% of his or her maximum potential. Due to limiting conditions currently prevailing among them, the lack of access to learning opportunities. Our solution is focused on an e-learning platform that is fully in Portuguese, dedicated to facilitate access to quality education in all levels. Our business plan provides and targets models of B2B and B2C markets. We harness today's resources through digital content creation, content translation, and digital content distribution via our e-learning platforms. In terms of services, these three are the ones that we provide at now. In terms of traction, we have now more than 800 registered users, 3 complete courses produced in-house, and have 2 big companies as our clients. Our teams are 100% Angolan and fully prepared to provide and accomplish all the goals that we are facing now. In terms of competition, our platform has all the services required to provide a high-level experience of learning online. Our competitive advantage is based on being faster, providing solutions that are economically accessible and are effective and efficient. In terms of our growth projections, we plan to publish more than 30 courses within the next year, and in 5 years' time, we hope to reach at least 75,000 users. I do know that the future has in store for many of us and our young people, and we are determined to facilitate opportunities for learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And with quite a bit of time to spare, floor is open for judges.
Yeah, I can go. Oh, sorry, Kanina, maybe you should go first and then I can go after.
Thank you, Ashwin. Just a quick one. Lisa, thanks for the pitch. Wanted to ask about your pricing model and how it compares to traditional education.
Well, we have, in terms of our business model, 2 options: one-time purchase or subscription. The courses will be sold between $30 to $70. It will vary between the different level of content that we provide. But the student can have a monthly subscription of $2 per month, so that in terms of having the full access to the course, they can get like a class a day, and then they pay for the subscription so that they can finish the course. Did I answer to your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Lisa, thanks a lot for this incredible pitch. I think you mentioned a line, talent is universal and opportunity isn't, and that's pretty much our tagline as well. So it was pretty cool to see that there's someone else on the continent also who's thinking in our way. So I think I have 2 questions. The first question is, does the student or like, does the participant pay for the course before they take the course? And two is, what is the drop-off rate currently? Like how many people are like buying courses and dropping off? I think that'll be a very interesting metric for me to understand.
The drop rate is about 15% right now. And we also plan to do like other platforms like Coursera. We want to give access at the beginning to some of the classes, maybe 3 classes, so that they can get in touch of how the content is provided. And then they can start paying from the first class, for example. Just like Alison, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we want to adjust depending on what content we will provide, because what we are doing is doing a closing partnership with university and institutions. And we also have to come up with a win-win partnership that they agreed for us to provide the content for free up to a point. So it doesn't fully depend on us because we are still an Uber. So we need to make sure that all the agreements are implemented on both ends.
Yeah. No, because currently I think we are currently researching, MEST is researching a pay-as-you-go online continuous education model. And I wanted to see if you guys also are thinking about that as well, which is, I think if you have a course and it's broken down into 10 modules, as and when you finish a module, you pay more money. Like you don't pay everything at a get-go. So like if a course is $95, you would pay $5 for the first course, 10 like that, and then it would combine towards the success of the course to make sure that drop-off rates are not actually found. But yeah, thank you, Lisa.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, do we have time for one more, Stephanie?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious about potential students that are off the grid that don't have that last mile connection, if you have plans for how to reach them.
Yes, I will ask for my CTO to answer, if you just give me.
Yeah, to answer your question, currently we are actually in the process of closing key partnership with the government has actually constructed a number of multimedia centers across the country, and in 2022, for example, we have AngleSat available, a satellite service that will provide free internet across the country. So we are capitalizing on that, as well as the same partnership that we talked about with potential internet service providers that provide the free computer access and internet service for free. So we have such partnership in place.
Any more questions, please?
I think we are also at time. Perfect. Thank you so much, judges, and thank you so much, Lisa. Next on the list, we have Secvate Solutions with Terry Wambui Macharia.
Thanks, Stephanie. Just a moment to share my screen. Could you confirm you can see my screen and hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Loud and clear. Time starts when you start speaking.
And I'm just gonna set my timer as well so that I am set. So good morning to all of you. My name is Terry Wambui Macharia. I'm the founder and managing partner of a company called Secvate Solutions. We are a cyber and software solutions company. As we are all certain that we will not live forever, at one point we will have to die. So in the cybersecurity world, it's not a question of if you will be attacked, but when that attack will happen. As you're seeing more and more businesses move their businesses online, as well as embrace digital transformation, hackers are not sleeping. And after every 39 seconds, we're getting an attack. It's surprising to note that even the big companies, it takes close to 6 months for you to be able to identify that actually a data breach happened to you. So what are we doing as a company? As a company, we've looked at a holistic aspect of the way we can address these cybersecurity threats within your company. We help you do 4 main things, which is assess, identify, analyze, and report on cybersecurity issues. And this we move from how do people access your building, how are your networks configured? If you have web applications running, how are they running? If you're a software development company, we review the source codes. We also assess your team, your employees, and how well cyber aware they are. Okay, sorry, I'm having some technical issues. So how do we do this? We do this mainly in 4 stages. So we sit with you and decide on what your objective is and what you want to be assessed. We then either go in blind and use tools to gather information, or you give us some sort of information. We then use a combination of manual and automated techniques to be able to identify any cybersecurity issues that you may have. Then we do give you a report that gives you recommendations and how best you can stay safe against these vulnerabilities. While it's very easy for most cybersecurity companies to be able to identify a breach, very few of them are able to stop it as it's happening. And through our partnership with Empower, we are able to do this through anomaly detection, whereby we study user behavior and are able to note in case there are any alerts or when someone is trying to attack you, we're able to stop it as it's happening. So proactive in a way. Our market is mainly in 3 areas, and this is across Africa. So we are looking at 3 main industries with looking at $1 billion for each, the addressable market. For the financial industry, our focus is on the SACCOs because we feel like the central banks are doing quite a good job on the banking industry. The health, our focus has been on the clinics and private hospitals because of the HIPAA and the data that these institutions do. We do have a partnership with locally here, KMPDU, which is the Medical Practitioners Association. Also in the real estate industry, we are seeing a lot of Internet of Things and cyber criminals threatening to get already into our homes. So we feel if we can partner with real estate industries and be able to safeguard either their CCTVs or their Wi-Fi's at home, then this would be a plus for us. Our revenue model, because of its completion, is we do this on a model and based on the scope that we are looking at. We have managed to go to different African countries, mostly South African and the Greater East African market, but we're looking to go to West Africa, has sub 30+ clients, and some of our names is Institute of Directors and Fluoride Exide. Our ask is we're looking for strategic delivery partners, mostly in West Africa, and we're looking for customers who wish to safeguard their assets. The team is comprised with 35+ years of experience, mostly in cyber, project management, and software development. With cybersecurity being one of the fastest growing industries in information security, then it promises a lot of significant returns. And we'd be happy if you join us either as a customer, partner, or investor to help us safeguard our assets. Thank you, and that's how we can be reached. So I'm open to your questions.
Thank you. Floor is open for questions.
Yeah, no questions from me, actually. I'll pass it over. Thank you.
I have a question, so I'll go ahead. Just a point of clarity. Jay, thank you so much for the pitch. You mentioned strategic partners. Who are these partners? Are they software development companies you partner with? Are they consultancies? I'm assuming they help you to access markets. And then secondly, of course, working in cybersecurity, your clients will need to trust you. It's a sector built around trust. How are you working to establish that trust? And what success have you had to date?
Great. So your first question, yes, you're right. We are like in South Africa specifically, we're working with a cybersecurity company that does not have enough skills. So we do a teaming agreement whereby when there are clients that need to be served, we partner together. In Botswana, what we did is we partnered with a company that was providing a software solution for health, and were able to assess on its cybersecurity aspects. So they were working with government to deploy management solutions. Similar case with Tanzania and Zimbabwe. For trust, yes, I agree. It's cyber is all about trust, and most customers want to work with people that have been in this industry longer than we. But one of the things we've done is we have partnered with companies cybersecurity companies that have solutions that can help do this. The other aspect is we are also going to, from an association point of view, like here locally, KPMDU, which is a Kenya Practitioners for Medical. So through them, they are able to push us to their members. So that has been a success. So to date, like I said, we've served 30 plus lines and have generated, I'm gonna put this in USD, 21,000. And yes, so I think unless there's anything else, I'll be happy to answer.
No questions from me.
Any questions from you, Kanina?
Okay, quick one out of it. Your biggest challenge today?
Sorry?
A quick one out of interest. What has been your biggest challenge to date?
I think to date is trying to convince people why they need to secure their assets. So what we do is we actually ask them to allow us to assess and then tell them, show them where the problem is. Then they're receptive. But otherwise, just tell them we can do this. It's a bit impossible. So that has been the greatest challenge. Of course, in the perspective that I'm a lady, very few accept that. But I have a co-founder who stands in for the gender thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have XSenseAI with Dr. Deogratias Mazurqualo. You're going to have to repronounce that for me. I apologize.
That's okay. It's Deogratias Mzurikwao. It's a Swahili name, which means beauty at home.
Awesome. Perfect. The time starts whenever you start speaking.
Okay, you can see my screen, right?
Not yet.
Now?
Yep.
Okay, my name is Dr. Deogratias Mzurikwao. I'm the founder of XSenseAI, a Tanzanian-based artificial intelligence company, and we are focusing building artificial intelligence-based solutions in healthcare. And this time we're building an AI-based solution for early detection of breast cancer by using ultrasound image. Kindly watch our demonstration video. Okay, so breast cancer is the second common cancer.
Dr. Deogratias, have we lost you? Let's give it one more moment for him to come back. Okay, we will move on to the next panel, or the next pitch, and we'll come back once the doctor has his internet connection figured out. Wonderful. Next, we have Wazinsure with Winnie Badia.
Hi, are you able to view my screen?
Yep, and we can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect, thank you. Great, so my name is Winnie Badia. I'm the founder and CEO of Wazinsure. We are an insurance technology startup based here in Kenya. I'm sure most of you might have experienced challenges when engaging insurance agents or brokers when buying a policy or filing a claim. The process currently is paper-based and it takes a long time before a policy has been issued or your claim has been paid. The other problem in the insurance industry is that there is the intermediaries and loss assessors who might even collude with, say, garages or even the hospitals to overstate the cost of claims. And this makes insurance companies lose out a lot of money. So why is this problem important? Because insurance companies have to provide a margin to cover for the distribution cost and also to cover for potentially fraudulent claims, it makes premiums quite expensive, and many people are then left not insured because they can't afford these insurance policies. And besides that, there's an issue of a lack of trust in the insurance space because the claims process takes a very long time for the claims to be paid. And just to add, in addition to that, over 90% of Africans are uninsured. And this is as a result, obviously, because of the challenges in the insurance space. So the solution that we provide is a web and mobile application whereby the insurance processes are digitized from the underwriting to premium payments to the claims notifications and processing. And we provide a web and mobile channel for the insurance companies to administer the policies and manage their claims and also engage their customers. The market opportunity in Africa is large. We underwrite about $60 billion worth of premiums in Africa. And in Kenya alone, this is about $2 billion. But we believe this definitely can grow if these challenges are sorted for the insurance companies. As a startup, we are targeting about $3 million worth of revenues. We have a number of competitors in our space. Our closest competitor is Click2Sure. This is a South African insurtech startup. And in Kenya, we have a company called Pesa Bazaar who provide an online platform for insurance comparison. And in the US, we have a company called Trove. How we are different is, first, we're locally based, we understand our market best, and we also provide data insights to the insurance companies to have a 360-degree view of the customer. And this makes them engage better with their customers. At the same time, we are reducing the cost for the insurance companies. What's our business model? We charge insurance companies a setup fee to digitize their insurance products. This is subscription fee of $1,500. And then we also charge a $15 fee per API call for automated claims assessment. So it could either be 15% fee. Our projecting that in the next 3 years we'll be making revenues of at least $400,000 US by having onboarded at least 10 insurance companies. In terms of our traction, we've secured a distribution partner who is giving us access to over 5,000 customers for us to digitize the insurance processes. And this will translate to annual revenues of $25,000 just from this particular group. And then we're currently running 2 insurance pilots with 2 insurance companies based here in Kenya. And then we are also in advanced discussions with 3 insurance customers. And we also have a team of 4 developers. I have a degree in actuarial management. So I have experience in insurance from various companies, and I'm supported by a technology lead. And we also have an advisory board with over 30 years experience in IT and business development. So we are looking for strategic investors who have experience in the insurance space and also business development partners. We are currently raising $375,000 to help us onboard more insurance companies. We are targeting at least 10 over the next 3 years, and this will translate to $400,000 in revenue. Thank you, and we look forward to working together. Thanks.
Floor is open for questions. Thank you, Winnie.
I'm curious why you don't have anyone in the insurance space on your advisory board, and basically where are you getting the advice, or how are you figuring out what strategic direction to go with within the space? Who is your expert?
In the insurance space, Richard Gishini actually worked at Madison Insurance. So he does have experience from the insurance and financial services sector. So he would be our expert in that. Plus myself, I have worked in the insurance space as well. I've worked at Aon in the life insurance department, and my profession is in actuarial science.
Yeah, Vinny, thanks a lot for that pitch. I think Nekesa, are you done? Sorry, you were frozen for a bit. So who is your customer? Is it the insurance company, or is it actually the end customer? Because in your pitch, I think initially you had my attention and you were like insurance companies, and I understand that we did a lot of research around, I think, insurance companies in Kenya and East Africa and then West Africa as well, and we realized that it's a very big opportunity. But I want to understand who exactly gives you money.
Great. So our customer is our core customer is the insurance company. We are B2B. We are digitizing their processes to make them more cost efficient. And by doing this, we believe will now help them access the end customers much more easier and at a more affordable cost. But at the same time, we have a B2B2C model whereby when we have a large group, an aggregator group or a distribution network, for instance, the one we currently have, the agreement is such that for every policy that has been bought through our platform, we get a 5% commission on that. But our core customer is the insurance company who are getting the most value.
Great. We have time for one more quick question. Okay. Perfect. We will go back to Dr. Deogracias.
Kanina has a question.
Oh, sorry. Last question.
I just saw Kanina raise her hand.
Perfect. Sorry. Go ahead, Kanina.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Winnie, for your pitch. I wanted to ask you, what has been the response from the insurance companies you have been engaging? What has been their feedback on your product?
So some of them, one of the challenges is that some of them are still, do not currently have APIs in their core systems that we can integrate with. So that has been our main challenge, because for our channels, we have to integrate to their systems, and the current provider who provides the
Give it a second to see when he comes back to us. Winnie?
Hello, sorry,
Okay.
I got lost for a minute. So I was saying the challenge has been connectivity because of the API development. The core insurance system providers are pricey on that, but the insurance companies are keen on digitizing because they want to differentiate themselves by engaging their customers and giving them a better experience.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Winnie. We're actually going to go back to Dr. DeGratas now. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, great. You're a little bit quiet.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay, perfect. You start from the top.
Sorry about the problem I had previously. So I will go straight. So my name is Dr. Deogratias Mzorikwao. I'm the founder of XSenseAI, a Tanzanian-based artificial intelligence company, and we focus in building AI solutions in healthcare. And this time, we are trying to tackle breast cancer, early detection of breast cancer by using ultrasound image. Kindly watch the demonstration video. So breast cancer is the second most common cancer and the second leading cause of cancer mortality among women in Africa, according to Global Can and WHO, and it is leading in Kenya and Ethiopia and the second in Africa. Approximately half of all women diagnosed with breast cancer in sub-Saharan Africa die of the disease, and these numbers are expected to increase by 85% by 2030. The reasons why the numbers are high, the way breast cancer is diagnosed, a woman will go to the hospital where a mammogram image will be taken, and radiologists will analyze the image. Depending on the number of patients the doctor is seeing, it can take up to 2 days for a doctor to analyze those mammogram images to see if there is any kind of a lump inside the breast. Then if a lump is found, a biopsy will be taken from that lump and analyzed in the lab, which can take up to 2 weeks to get results. And currently, this work is very difficult. As currently in Tanzania, there are only 5 hospitals with cancer diagnosis capability, and just 30 oncologists and just 15 pathologists, and it is a country of more than 60 million people. There are around 12 cancer facilities in Nairobi, and the numbers are the same in Ethiopia and Uganda. Also, the cost of cancer diagnosis currently in Tanzania it is at 120, and sorry, okay. So studies shows that more than 80%. I can't see down here. Okay, more than 80% of cases are presented at late stage because of the numbers I have explained above. Our market size is at 100 million people in Africa who are above 40 years of age, because the WHO recommend women from 40 years to have breast cancer screening at least once a year, and they recommend it to have twice a year when you start the age of 44. And also in Tanzania, more than 6.5% of all breast cancer patients in Tanzania in 2018 were males. So this is not a problem for females alone, so it's both. Our business model is based on the software subscription, where hospitals can subscribe using our facility remotely, where they can just take ultrasound image from their patient, upload into our system remotely, and they can get results within a minute. And also the second part of the business is on the data analysis, where we can analyze the data after the patient's being diagnosed to know where the numbers of breast cancer are significant. And this data can be sold to pharmaceutical companies, also to other agencies, to target and do further research on why the numbers are high in a particular region. So probably the numbers are high, let's say in Nakuru, And when further research is conducted, they can find out maybe it's because of the lifestyle of people in Nakuru, or there's some kind of food people are eating there. So this can be useful in early intervention. Our competitors are Google, Dr. Else and Parrot AI. Dr. Else and Parrot AI are local AI companies, and currently they're not working on cancer. Google last year, they released their product for detection of breast cancer using mammogram. Mammogram use X-ray, and we all know the side effects of X-ray, but in our side, we're using ultrasounds, which are safe. And also ultrasounds machines are very common. For example, here in Tanzania, our ultrasounds machine are available up to district level hospitals. We are looking for $300,000 to be able to validate our prototype and also to deploy. Our traction, we're expecting to make 1.4 million US dollars, depending on the data we obtained from 2018, because more than 28,000 women were diagnosed with breast cancer in Tanzania, and expecting to have a net profit. Our team is myself. I have a PhD in the application
of. Dr. Giagratias, we're at time. If Ashwin wants to ask a question about the team slide, I guess he has it on his screen. The floor is open for questions.
Yeah, Doctor, thanks a lot for this pitch. Sorry, Kanina, as always. Why don't you go first?
No, you go this time, Ashwin.
Okay. So I think I really wanted to understand, I think, a little bit of your, business model as well over here. So assuming, so the customer pays for the test, but what does, is the hospital subsidizing the costs, or how is it working here? Because I'm not able to understand, because for example, if it's already expensive to go to a hospital, right? And if it's already expensive to even travel to a hospital and get the test diagnosed, is it an extra load, or I don't understand, I'm still not able to understand how you're providing value to the customer in terms of financial monetization, basically.
All right, the current diagnosis is at $120 US. We are planning to charge $50, but since we rely on images to come from the ultrasound machine, and these ultrasound machines are available at the hospital, so the hospitals will use their own ultrasound machine and take image and upload into our system. And we, so far we have agreed to leave the 20% of our income to the hospital. And also our company have its own payment system. So the patient will pay direct to us, and the 20% will go direct into the hospital, because the hospital is using its own ultrasound machine to get the image, and also it's using its expert to get those images. So for us, we won't go to the hospital, but the hospital will use its own facilities to get the image and upload into our system, and we are leaving 20% of the income to the hospital.
Thank you very much for the... Ashwin, are you finished? My question was the same as Ashwin's, but I do have a second one, which is, to what extent is there the opportunity for you to expand this business beyond breast cancer into diagnosing other types of cancer? Forgive my ignorance in this space, but is that also reliant on ultrasounds? And can your algorithms also be adapted to pick up other types of cancer?
Yes, of course. And actually, we are working with another company, local company here in Tanzania, which have been collecting cervical cancer. It's a local company, but they've been working with its partner from West Africa and some parts of Uganda. They are collecting cervical cancer data. So we're still negotiating with the company to provide that data so we can train our model and deploy. But actually, our target is to solve all types of cancer. We're just starting with breast cancer. We are going to the cervical cancer. And also we are working with the Muhimbili National Hospital, where they're providing us with leukemia and the lymphoma cancer. So our target is just to target all types of cancer. This is just a start. And not only cancer, even to other diseases. A few months ago, we had a model which was being validated in Kenya at Kenyatta National Hospital for early detection of COVID-19 by using chest X-ray image. And it was being validated, but since now COVID is going down, especially in the African countries, we didn't put much effort into it in terms of business.
Yeah, I'm curious, what's the accuracy rate of the X-rays versus the ultrasound? Why would you feel that ultrasound would be a better option than the X-ray that Google is using.
Okay, and actually, you have asked a very good question, and it has been asking in the AI community. Some people are complaining about using ultrasound because it's safe. Some people are complaining about using X-ray. But we have tested both types of data, X-ray and ultrasound, and we couldn't find any difference between the two. That's why we opted to go with ultrasound. With Google, mammogram machines are very common in Western countries, and they're expensive. Here in Tanzania, especially here in Dar es Salaam, we have only one mammogram machine, but ultrasound machine are available. So we think Google targeted using mammogram machine because they're common, they're available. They can be afforded in Western countries, unlike here in low and middle income countries.
Okay, and final question, where are the women on your team?
Yeah, currently we don't have any women, but we are recruiting two. One is our business advisor, and also we are training one because we understand the importance of having ladies in our team. And artificial intelligence is a new technology. There is not any university here in Tanzania offering artificial intelligence. I did my PhD in the UK. My CTO did his PhD in AI in China. So we are trying to pass the knowledge to other teams. We are training a team of 5 people in our company, and two of them are ladies who can be in the technical side, and another lady who have a degree in business administration, but she don't have any working experience. So we have attached her in another company of our partner who has experience in business, so we can have her in our team. So we are looking into that.
Thank you so much, judges. Thank you, Dr. Diakratias. Next, we have YOUpersonify with Morris Odero.
Hey, hello guys. Can you hear me?
You're a little bit on the quiet side, but we can see your screen.
Okay.
There, perfect.
Okay, cool. Hi. My name is Morris Odero, and I'm the founder and CEO of YouPersonify.com. Could you go on to the next slide, please? So YouPersonify is a social health platform connecting people affected by the same disease condition for support and friendship. So for example, if a lady is diagnosed with cervical cancer, what does she do? How does she go about it? You know, being a patient is an isolated experience, and maybe she can't know who in her friends or family who has ever gotten it. So connecting with someone who's got it or who's gone through it will help alleviate the emotional distress that comes with, being sick or suffering from any type of cancer. So it's a peer-to-peer patient health that in most cases, on the patient side, you find that there's a lack, there's a gap there. So that's the gap you're trying to fill. And our solution is where, could you please go on to the next slide? Would be the next slide, please. So the solution will be having our patients as nodes, patient support groups, medical practitioners and health institutions as nodes and moderators of various groups and communities. The patient support groups will be onboarding patient support groups on the platform by connecting with health facilities, so that we make sure that the information being relayed on the platform is verified. So if a facility confirms that the patient is indeed theirs, then they can onboard a particular support group, and they can share their stories, perspective on the platform. Our differentiator is that you're different from other social media platforms. You find that there's stigma and fear in sharing our health experiences on other media platforms. So having a health-centric social media platform is a differentiator. So the aim is to raise and spread awareness on the real-time nature of disease, and we do that by the continual communal support, because we find that there's that doctor-patient confidentiality. But charity begins at home. So and health goes beyond the doctor's walls. So having that continual communal support outside the hospital walls will greatly help, in bringing down the cost of disease. And by, we are a data-driven platform. So from the device perspectives, we are trying to find common patterns that could possibly lead to cheaper, long-term, healthier, nature-friendly remedies that could influence the health in the formulation of health policies and models in the future. Next slide, please. Yeah, product, as I said, being a patient is an isolated experience. So 70% of users have never met anyone suffering with their condition, and 80% of that percentage is in chronic illnesses, and 60% say health information found on social media influences how they deal with a certain disease or cope with the chronic condition. Next slide, please. Yeah, value proposition is trying to predict. We're trying to change or shift healthcare from a reactive one where we have to get sick in order to seek treatment. How about going much further back by trying to predict the future, and that's by gathering data points from different patients and help in intervening further upstream. Next slide, please. We are a B2B model. We'll be selling aggregated and anonymous data from the platform to pharmaceutical corporations, medical research institutions, food companies, governments, also enlisting drug participants in for drug trials in pharmaceutical. Next slide, please. So our website already has 40,000 web visits and 16,000 repeat visitors. So there's we've been in a number of competitions, as you can see from there. Next slide, please. Our strategy for go-to-market will involve, reaching out to patient support groups, medical organizations, secondary strategies like social media, monitoring, SEO, advertising, and all that. Mentioned the next slide. Next slide. Size global health big data.
Okay, Morris.
So big data is gonna. Okay, cool.
Thank you, Morris. Great. Can we? The floor is open for questions.
No questions from my side.
Yeah, well, I didn't understand if there is a revenue model or what the business case is. What I do understand is that it's a social platform where people suffering different ailments can encourage each other. But what is there something else? I didn't get that.
Yes, exactly that, and also because at a starting point it should be a patient-centric one, but on board where they can also form their own patient-centric, but also it can also be public. So depending on the type of interaction that you want to have on the platform, so you might have a patient-centric interaction on the same group interactions on the platform that are already on the prototype. Any other questions?
Okay, perfect. Our next, or actually our final, but certainly not least presenter will be Vivian Apondo from Farmula, who is coming back, and we're going to be finishing with a strong presentation from Vivian.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing my slides, please? Oh, thank you. Could you please go to the start? So hi everyone, my name is Vivian Opondo, co-founder and CEO at Farmula. Next, please. At Farmula, we're building the future of food distribution on the African continent. Yes, that's me on the right of your screen. Back in 2015, when I was trying out my hand in farming, we ended up losing $3,000 that we had invested in farming. Not because our produce did not do well, but because we could not access market, yeah? And then you find that 60 million farms in Africa try to reach market through open air markets. But what open air markets do not take into account, it's the collection of data, and they also erode buyers and farmers' margins. There are already players in this sector, and the agri-tech sector is valued at $8 trillion. Next, please. Next, please. Sorry, yeah. So this is the nature of the agri-tech, sorry, go back. The nature of the agri-tech sector is supply chain is currently looking like this, whereby you have to look for a broker to connect you to logistics, then look for a broker to get into the open air market, then look for a broker to sell to the end consumer. And we are trying to solve the problem of the fragmented nature of the agri-tech supply chain. Next. Here is Shiko. Shiko has been our customer since November 2019 when we launched in Nairobi, Kenya. Shiko runs a small food business, and every morning she will have to go to Marikiti, which is the main open air market in Nairobi, to source her produce, interact with up to 3 brokers because different brokers handle different produce before she will place her order and pay a hefty price to have her produce delivered to her premise. Next, please. With us, all Shiko has to do is interact with Voice.io. We are building the future of food distribution on the continent, and we are using technology to do this. Can you go to next? Yes. So with Voice.io, all you have to do is just tell Voice.io what you need. We integrate Voice.io with already existing applications on our customers' phones. Right now, we are using WhatsApp bot. So you send a list of the products you need, and then Voice.io adds it to a cart. Once you check out, you can tell Voice.io you want to pay either via mobile money or card, and then it generates for you a receipt and you're good to go. Next. As I mentioned, there are already players in this space, and what sets us apart is we are building an end-to-end solution that any player in this space can leverage off. So we are very asset-light. That means we do not own logistics, we do not own storage, we do not pay for inventory. Instead, we partner with already existing players, and we enable end consumers to be able to get their produce from source. Lastly, Voice.io, we integrate it with already existing solutions, so that makes us very scalable and accessible. Next. To date, we've been able to onboard 100 such customers as Shiko, and then We fulfilled 3,000 orders, and in revenue, that translates to 60,000 in revenue, dollars, sorry, next. Next, okay. So we charge 50% of what 50% of what Chico would have incurred in terms of like markup, and then we charge $50 monthly for all businesses that are looking to use our platform to reach their businesses, and 10% to all our partners. Next, sorry. This is Maureen Murunga. Maureen Murunga is a professional product sales lead at L'Oreal, and she is using our product to reach her distributors. This is our latest like development, and we are looking to jump onto this in this quarter, Q4, sorry. Next.
Okay, thank you, Vivian. We are at time. The floor is open for questions.
Yeah, I work with Vivian quite closely, so I'm going to pass this on to you guys.
Thank you so much, Vivian. Very interesting presentation. On the farmer side of things, I understand how the customer is making purchases. What is the farmer seeing, and how do they know? I assume they are responsible for delivery. How do they know where to go? Can you just unpack that side of the supply chain?
Yeah, so on the farmer's side, they do not have to worry about delivery because our platform caters for that. So we do cater for delivery, and those are the kinds of people we integrate on our platform. We enable our farmers earn up to 20% more than what they are earning right now when they go to open air markets.
But are they also interfacing with the digital platform? What does it look like from their point of view?
Oh, okay. So when someone places an order, we aggregate all of that on our end, and all the farmers' views is like a notification, like an SMS notification that we need X amount of produce by X amount of time.
If you could please go back to the revenue slide. Yeah, the $50, who's paying this? Is it both Maureen and Shiko?
No. So Shiko, we are only getting 50% of what we save Shiko. So on a regular, someone like Shiko will place like three orders in a week, and that is like 5 times 3, $15. So we take 50% of what we save her. So on a regular, if Shiko was to go to an open air market, she would pay $5 more, but we lower it down to by 50% because we are getting it direct from the farmers. So we get it at so instead of her paying $15 weekly in markup, we are getting 50% of that. So that is $15 coming to us.
Great. Now, oops, my video is off. Thank you so much. So that is actually the last of our startups, which means the judges will go into deliberation. And meanwhile, we're going to do a quick round robin with all the startups who are still with us now. I'll give the judges a moment. Rhea, would you like to say anything before the judges go into deliberation? Nope. Okay.
I mean, in general, wonderful pitches, and it
definitely will be a tough decision and deliberation on our part. So please allow us a few minutes as we, calculate all the scores and deliberate on who will be winning top 3 today. And yeah, back to you, Steph. You guys have a fruitful discussion.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Excuse me. I actually realized I hadn't introduced myself. I'm sorry, there's like a very loud noise coming from somewhere. As we know, my name is Stephanie. I'm the head of marketing at a fintech startup based out of Kenya called Anza. Basically, we do cross-border payments that help businesses move money in and out of Africa. And it's been certainly a very interesting time for the continent in terms of development and everything with COVID, and the fact that actually, Kenya at least was not hit as badly as a lot of, Kenya and Africa was not hit as badly as a lot of analysts were expecting. So I'd love to start off kind of the questioning or the Q&A around, how has COVID affected the businesses that we all run, from solar to AI to supply chain? Which ones of the businesses have been impacted the most? Does anyone want to start?
Yeah, I can say something maybe.
Great, perfect.
Actually, in our company, COVID provided us with actually in our side, COVID provided us with new opportunities. We've been working with a local office, the UNDP, to perform sentiment analysis by extracting data from Twitter to understand what will happen in Tanzania, because Tanzania has been handling COVID-19 in a total different way. And we've found some answers. So actually to open another wing for business. And also we've been working with Vigro Kenya to try to develop ways for the early detection of COVID with with consideration to normal pneumonia by using chest X-rays. So we think COVID have opened other sides to look into. So it has been positive in our side.
Yeah, that's also, I think, what I've heard. A lot of medical startups have actually gotten funding. They have gotten new opportunities that they otherwise wouldn't have been able to work with government ministries that they wouldn't normally have access to, things like that. And so that's really great. For the rest of you, any other industries that you have been affected either positively or negatively?
I'll talk for Flair.
Great,
Sorry.
Go ahead, Purity.
When COVID-19 started, we all experienced curfew hours. And as operating as an emergency response company, we couldn't actually dispatch some of the, sorry, let me just start over. When COVID started, there were so many curfews. And with these, most of the women in Kenya, when they go into labor, they're always depending on taxis or even neighbors to take them to the hospitals. And since they were not able to reach to the hospital during curfew hours, as most of these were not working, a lot of women were actually dying during delivery because they didn't have these means. And so it opened up an opportunity for us at Flair. There's a startup an initiative by a doctor called Dr. Jemima. She's really amazing. She started an initiative for Wheels for Life, who then partnered with Flair so that we provide 100% of their ambulances to be able to take these women to the hospital, no matter what time of the night it is. And we've been able to save so many lives through this. It's a free initiative for Wheels for Life, and we've partnered with the Ministry of Education, other health organizations. And as much as COVID is there, we shouldn't neglect other parts of people's lives, like giving birth, which is a normal thing for every single woman. So for us, this is really an amazing opportunity that we have to take on. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much, Purity. Yeah, I remember actually having a conversation with my roommate at the beginning of COVID being like, how are people getting to hospitals or dealing with emergencies? And I guess you just answered that for me. Thank you so much. Anyone else want to share? I saw Joyce, you had, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think for us, the fact that, I mean, we have a software for collecting revenue, that has really helped us in terms of business continuity, manage to run a few operations here and there. In as much as during the COVID period, it hasn't been at the optimal, we have managed to stay afloat because of our tech, our software. We don't need to be there to collect revenue. Our products are all available in the software. So our sales agents are as well are able to market those products to the people who are in remote areas. So I think apart from the fact that some of the products we sell, some of them we have sold to a fishing community in Migori and Homa Bay County. And most of them sell fish to hoteliers in Nairobi. And because there was a ban on hotels, they couldn't sell their fish. So we have had to reschedule our agreements with them. So yeah, that has been, you know, a bit slow. We've rescheduled how much they're paying on a daily basis, for how long they will pay. But all in all, I think for us, the fact that we have tech, we have remained afloat. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much, Joyce. Lisa, I'd love to hear the situation from Angola.
Yeah, so here in Angola, the COVID has actually accelerated in terms of this legislation to recognize e-learning. Unfortunately, up to March of this year, we had no legislation or no laws that actually recognize e-learning course. The government didn't actually, you know, had everything in place. So this has accelerated the process, because only now universities are creating conditions to provide e-learning as an option. Before, we didn't have not even one, well, as of now, we don't have one university in Angola that provides a degree or master's with an e-learning option. So this has created an opportunity for us to partnership with universities that are really interested in joining our project, in terms of us providing the platform, and they can focus only on delivering the course. So we are about to close some partnership with local universities in Angola, but also we are bringing degrees from outside of Angola. We are now closing one partnership with an American university and one company that provides IT content, especially for these new abilities and technologies like cloud computing, code, PHP, AI, all these new skills that we don't have it in Angola, and our universities and institutions do not provide. So COVID has speed up this interest, and also there is a lot of funding towards education, especially since the United Nations has specified the, how do you call the 2030 OGN national?
Sustainable development.
Oh, the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. So we want to help revolutionize education, starting in Angola and then going to other Portuguese-speaking countries in Southern Africa. So we are getting the wave of COVID in a positive way.
Yeah, thanks so much, Lisa. I love that you mentioned Coursera, because when COVID first started, I went Coursera crazy. I took 18 courses on Coursera, completed all of them, got certificates for all of them. And it inspired me so much. I actually just started a e-learning master's in applied neuroscience. And it's so surprising to me that more universities don't offer it, because we have Zoom, we have so much of this technology. You know, why are we not taking advantage of it? Even if it's like pre-recorded sessions and there's, you know, group work. We do a lot of group work on like WhatsApp, you know, there's still a community, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so I think COVID as an opportunity for education, for rethinking our entire education system, can be really powerful. Thanks so much for that, Lisa. Anyone else want to share? Because we also have some non-Kenyan, some other, I think.
Maybe I can share. So for us at Abiria, actually COVID was what spurred us to get our product into the market. So like before we were just kind of building it just to see what we could do. So I think if you notice like our team slide, it was 2 of us because we were just kind of working on it together. And then when COVID hit and the government really started pushing for cashless payments, we thought this might be an opportunity for us to really push our product because finally there's, you know, an obvious use case and a lot of companies are now going to start looking for these kinds of solutions. So I think for us, it just really opened up an opportunity that we weren't sure when it would arrive, but COVID really sped up the process of the opportunity arising for us to get into the market. So I guess on our side, it was unfortunately for most, but for us, it was like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, when we were first talking about She Loves Tech and thinking about what angle, you know, this would all take, I was like, oh, there were so many COVID, you know, pitch pitch competitions, and there were like accelerators, like all, you know, specifically around it. I don't think it made sense to like focus on that, but it's really interesting to hear how, you know, obviously every single business has been affected by COVID. And it's great to hear that it's accelerated and actually, you know, kicked off your business, Narika. So that's awesome. Anyone else? Great. Cool. Oh, do you want to go, Whitney?
Yes, I just wanted to comment for the insurance sector in Kenya. It's an industry that's very traditional, resistant to change, and a majority of the business is still through the agents and brokers. But since COVID happened, at least now we're seeing the underwriters more keen to digitize their processes. They've been issuing out requests for proposals for startups to submit and see how they can collaborate. So for us also, it's kind of at least accelerated the engagement with the insurance companies. But also, in addition to us as a startup ourselves, we've had to cut our expenses because in the enterprise sales cycles, it takes a long time before we convert the insurance companies. So we have to prolong our runway, and we're now working fully remotely just to cut down on our expenditures. Yeah.
I'm curious because I know that in Kenya, a lot of the insurance companies weren't covering COVID and like testing or related costs. Has insurance claims gone up?
I'm not so certain about that. I know the regulators issued, the regulator, the IRA, said that insurance companies should not pay claims from the COVID-related illnesses. And I know also that there are 2 insurance companies that specifically developed a product just to cover the COVID, but I'm not aware if the claims are actually high in terms of COVID. I'm not aware about that.
Interesting. Okay, great. Does anyone else want to share? Keep cutting people off.
I can give a perspective from South Africa. So we obviously had probably one of the most stringent lockdowns across the continent. And for us, initially, COVID actually sort of picked up our sales because there was sort of an apocalypse fear at the beginning. So people were going out and buying food in bulk. So obviously, we had the opportunity sort of to increase our sales quite a bit during that time. We also partnered with Flutterwave to distribute food hampers within the communities where we were working. So that sort of helped bridge relationships between our spaza shops, so the informal traders and their local communities, because the community was collecting from these shops. But I think over time now, because of the effects of the pandemic, we're beginning to feel them quite a bit afterwards, now that things are sort of calming down, particularly with the fact that a lot of people have lost their jobs. The small businesses are not doing very well. They're struggling for working capital. So it's all of these things that sort of seep through even to our own business, because the customers we normally service are also struggling to actually keep their businesses afloat. So I know there's been quite a lot of discussion that's been had by different stakeholders to see how we can actually improve the situation, especially for this bottom of the pyramid part of the market.
Yeah, definitely hear a lot. I've also heard that from like COVID is not a standard or you know, it's not the same situation across the entire time. There's definitely been a lot of ups and downs. And so hearing that in the beginning, it went better. And then, you know, now there's been some issues and, you know, who knows what 2021 will hold in store for us. Although I think all of us are ready for the year to be over. Great. Anyone else? Cool. Okay, so the next question I had was actually around fundraising. So in the beginning of COVID, I think because our investors stopped or weren't like going out and searching for companies as much to invest in, they like started really meddling in our company. And so I was like, oh, investors have so much time on their hands now. And then there was a lot of interesting, you know, opinions on like, is this a good time to raise? Yes, if you're a medical company. Yes, if you're a fintech. It's a bad time for everyone else to raise. Investors can't do due diligence. And as some of your presentations showed, a number of you are actively raising. I'd be curious to hear how that experience has been for the raise, either remote, because you're doing remotely, because of due diligence, because of just being able to network and meet investors, or how that process has been.
Maybe I can say something.
Sure.
Yeah, for us it was negative because before COVID started, we were already speaking with one investor who wanted to invest in our breast cancer project. But when COVID hit, they have to change their focus to COVID and not to breast cancer. So it was kind of confusing. Even the company had to change its strategy to try to develop solutions for COVID and not focusing much on the breast cancer. So we actually came back to breast cancer project like a few months ago. So we think it costed us a potential investor because of COVID. Yeah.
Yes, some of the investors definitely have mandates that say we need to prioritize finding a cure, dealing with, you know, shortages, things like that. Anyone else with different experiences fundraising?
We're still quite early on actually starting our fundraise, but I think what I've seen is with the fact that everything is now digital, there's a chance for you to meet more investors, but I wouldn't say that those meetings are probably as fruitful. I think when you actually meet people in person, you can sort of get a sense of where the conversation is going, but now you just, because there's so many events, so many activities, you're meeting so many people, and you can't really gauge whether they're going to be fruitful conversations or it's people who are just listening in. So I think there's also quite a lot of noise happening now that everything has gone digital. Yeah.
In the beginning, I was like so excited about like Zoom conferences and all these Zoom meetings, and I was like on every single one. And you know, like 2 months, and I was like, if I have to get on one more, if I hear one more person say, "Can you hear me now?" I'm gonna delete Zoom from my laptop. But obviously I'm on another one now. So great. Any other experiences?
Yeah, I think I can speak for us because so like we're only about 2 or 3 months into like actually having a complete product and trying it out in the market. So I would say we're more like in a pilot phase. And I definitely agree with Ropa, where you do get like a lot of meetings with people that don't really seem to go anywhere. So what we had to do was kind of focus more on just networking and meeting the right people, because right now, because we're not meeting in person, you can do like 10 meetings in a day because you're not going anywhere. So focusing more on networking and less on actual fundraising, so that hopefully when things do open up, we have a really long list of contacts that we can reach out to, that we kind of accumulated during this period where we had all the time to just have tons and tons of meetings, regardless of how like useful they were. At least it is growing our network for future.
Yeah, I think when I fundraised for my first company, there were so many meetings that were definitely duds. but they prove to be partners or customers or, you know, strategic in some way in the future. I think one of the things that I really struggled with was like keeping track of everyone. And now I use this amazing software called Notion. And I have like a personal CRM, professional CRM. It is awesome. I promote this everywhere. Notion does not pay me. I don't get any money from it, but it's like the best customizable free CRM. It's you know, you can take notes in it. You can do a lot of other things with it, but I definitely recommend everyone use it if they don't, especially for networking. It's great. Cool. Any other experiences?
Maybe I may not speak.
Oh, Terry, go ahead. Yeah.
I may not speak from an investor perspective because we were not looking for fundraising. But from a banking industry where you're looking for financing to just keep you going, I want to say it's been almost impossible to get any financing from the local banks. They were only financing, essential services. So even to keep afloat was quite a challenge because you couldn't get any form of financing because it was a risk for even the bank to give you financing at that point. So I think a lot of people struggle to get finances from the banks themselves.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting perspective. I will type the CRM here. Actually, I'll give you guys a link afterwards. Great. Any other experiences?
So on my end, I was engaging a fund that was coming to set up in Kenya. It's owned by an American and a British guy. The conversations were going on well until COVID happened, and they said they have to extend or they have to postpone when they'll intend to come set up in Kenya. So that obviously was a disadvantage for us. But also I was able to get an offer for investment from a Ghanaian investor, but we turned it down because the valuation he wanted to invest in was not favorable for us. And for him, he was very much interested, I think because he's worked in the insurance industry in West Africa, and he definitely understands the opportunity in that space.
Yeah, I think a lot of companies, and it's interesting. I think it's like one of two things. On one hand, it's definitely delayed expansion for not just investors, but for everyone. On the other hand, there's been so many syndicates and angel investor organizations that popped up during COVID because I think a lot of people are bored and they're like, I've saved so much money because I haven't been traveling or I haven't been going out to eat and buying all these things. Like, where should I put my money? Can I invest? And so I definitely think it's definitely both. Any other experiences? Anyone who's actively fundraising or thinking about it? Or if anyone has any advice for like the other startups?
I think, I think for us now, can't remember who was speaking, but I was just laughing because we've gone through the same as well, where the investor, takes our valuation that we have already done with a credible firm and says, this is not the valuation, according to me, this is your valuation, this is how much I'm willing to put in. So we've actually had to turn down investors who are willing to, who wanted to take a lot of shares for very little, and some of them actually wanted to buy us out. So we told them, let's just continue doing what we are doing. Being a majority shareholder, for me, that would have been something that would have impacted the company negatively because we've been doing business now for about almost 3 years. We're headed to 3 years, so we've experienced that the banks have been positive. On the other hand, I can say the only investment we've received, we received investment from a bank, a commercial institution. There's also a lot of money, results-based financing for renewable energy at the moment in Africa and in Kenya. So we have one that we actually just signed for. We signed with an international development organization just this week to start selling our electricity in Kakuma and Kalobei camps. So we are hoping we can start that soon. So yeah, it's been a mix of you know, like I would say emotions. Pre-COVID, it was up there. That's when we got the financing from the banking institution. The RBF are now coming. There are quite a number of grants as well, so we have to do a lot of applications. Yeah, so I would say it's there. And for investors, I find investors a bit. I don't want to say anything negative, but I find most of them, especially the ones who are coming in, you know, with equity, I find them a bit biased. Yeah, so that's my opinion.
I'm curious, Joyce, what do you mean by bias?
I think I would say I find that locally, and I'm saying this in all honesty, in Africa, in most areas, actually, even out of, you know, let's say like in the US, you read and you even interact with other startups and they tell you, I got investment just based on an idea. And for us here, we have traction, we have done so much, we've invested so much money in the company, developing the software, you know, linking up with all these manufacturers. We have attraction, we are serving customers, thousands of them on a daily basis. But still with that, they make it so difficult, like for you to access, you know, good financing from them, or even for them to invest in your company. Yes, in terms of the valuation that we look at it, it's totally different. You know, in terms of, you know, investing here in Kenya or in Africa and investments that are made elsewhere, I find there's a bit of bias, and that's just me, yeah. And also, I would want to mention that in the energy industry, there are not so many locals in the renewable energy industry. It's not an easy industry. Needs a lot of, especially if you're dealing with mini grids, which is part of our revenue model, it needs a lot of capital. So we find that, you know, even when you go for meetings, there's so many foreigners and, you know, very few local people. So you find that the investments are just going to foreigners and not coming back to, you know, they're not coming in back to the locals. And these foreigners are also serving locals. And yeah, so for us, we are happy the government right now, actually, there's a government-based RBF called COSAP that we are applying for that is now focusing on local companies. So yeah, that's the bias I was talking about. And that's my opinion.
Sorry, I was on mute. Definitely, this conversation that's been a very heated topic, not just in the US and Silicon Valley. You know, there's a lot of really great funds that have been popping up. Like Kanina's fund has been around for a while, but ones that are specifically focused on women, you know, gender-led investing. You know, talking about diversity, not just from a gender perspective, but also from a race, ethnicity, you know, educational background, whatever it might be, as well. And I think it's definitely an important topic to dialogue around. But I'm not gonna dig too much into this because I don't want to set off anything or trigger anyone right now. Great. Does anyone else have any experiences they want to share about fundraising? Okay, cool. Apparently the judges are supposed to be coming back soon, but I guess I'm curious to hear, maybe since we have so many different industries, if you can pick one industry other than yours that will be big for 2021, right? Because I'll give you guys a moment to think about that, but it's an interesting question because everyone is going to say my industry, right? Whether it's insurance or med tech or fintech or whatever, they're going to say that is the big trend for Africa for 2021. But I'm curious, if you had to pick one other one, what would it be and why? Yeah, okay. Does Lisa do you want to
I
say?
have an opinion. I think it will be live streaming.
Okay, why?
Because two things. Now, the internet coverage in Africa has been increasing by, I think, exponentially, especially in my country, in Angola. And I think that due to COVID, because it's not going to leave us so soon, people will be forced to live stream their events. Like churches, for example, are adapting to live streaming. And those people who will go back to producing live events, but due to COVID, they won't be able to fill up the entire space with the capacity that they are normally allowed to. They will have to have like 50% less or even more. They will adopt the live streaming, which is happening in Angola. So I believe that the live streaming technologies like cameras and all this technology that can facilitate live streaming will continue to boom. As we can see now, you know, we have lives everywhere. Even Instagram now, you can do live. So I think that's the future, besides my area of education. So, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Anyone else? Okay. Or we'll do one more and the judges are ready.
Okay, I think virtual assistant, instead of meeting people in person, sometimes you can have a virtual assistant where your problem can be solved without meeting the person. And instead of that person being online waiting for you, we can have a virtual assistant which can serve more than one person at the same time talking different topics.
Great. I think we have our judges back with us. If everyone can turn their cameras on, so Purity, Vivian, we're gonna take Helena is gonna help us take a quick group photo before we make the announcement.
Yep, Vivian, please open your camera, thank you. Vivian, are you there? Okay, I guess we can take the photo
We
first.
should Photoshop her in later.
Yeah, hi Vivian. Vivian, could you please help us to turn on your camera so that we can take a group photo together?
Okay.
Okay, got it. Okay, everybody, bright smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more with the hand sign. It could be good, it could be love, it could be anything you want. Yay, okay. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Got it, thank you very much. I'll be sending the picture into our group and pass the floor back to you, staff. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I will give the microphone to Nekesa for our announcement. You're on mute. Oh, there.
Right. The announcement, and I am announcing the top startup, right? That's what we want to do now.
Yes.
Okay, good. And so first of all, this has been an exciting experience and was extremely difficult, believe me when I say that. If I was in the same room with the judges, I think it may have gone longer. There may have been some callers pulled and so on. But finally,
I'm so sorry. That was totally my bad. We were supposed to start from the third, from backwards.
Good.
I'm so sorry about that.
I was trying to kill time as I hoped there was a conversation happening.
sorry. The messages just got a little scrambled in there. That's one of the dangers of like Zoom, right? Is that things get lost. Sorry about that. Everyone. Oh, okay. Kanina is actually going to announce third place first. Then Ashwin will do second place, and then we'll have Nekesa end with first place. So if I could have Kanina start instead.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. And I agree with everything that Nekesa said. It was a difficult choice. A very exciting lineup of startups. Thank you once again to everyone who pitched. It was a privilege. It was a privilege to hear the pitches this morning. Our third place company was a very strong pitch, a strong company which we believe has the potential to grow and scale on the continent. We also felt that it was solving a very pressing problem and an important solution. And in particular that there is some uniqueness to the solution, which we liked. It's not a unique solution. We haven't a totally unique solution. We have seen other companies like it in the market, but there was a slight competitive advantage to the solution. And then we also felt that in unbundling, as countries start to unbundle their generation capacity, this kind of solution will become increasingly important to help and open up the markets and enable customers to access the cheapest electricity. So of course, I'm talking about green innovations. Congratulations, they're our third place company.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Perfect. Ashwin, take it away.
Yeah, I think completely echoing Kanina and Nekesa, if we were all in one room, they would have probably beaten me a lot for, I think my results. I think I would probably want to start with some, some general feedback as well for all the entrepreneurs as well. The first and foremost thing for us as investors and as people who actually support capacity development, we often want to know who the team is. So it's imperative that before you guys actually finish a pitch, it's extremely critical you talk to us about why you and your team are well positioned to tackle this problem. If you notice, there were so many companies I had to specifically ask for team slides. There's so many companies who didn't get a chance to talk about their team slides as well. And I think that's unfair, especially because of all the employees and all the people you represent as well. The second thing, which I think is super critical, especially when I think you guys start scaling, is to talk a little bit more with numbers. I think pitches are great. I think storytelling is fantastic. But if we can hear a few numbers, which, gets investors like me a little excited in the morning, especially at 7 a.m. in the morning, you have to give us some, you have to give us some bit of that bread as well. But that being said, I think our second place winner is potentially solving one of the most critical problems, I think, when it comes to one, I think, keeping people aware. Second, also like making sure that people are getting responded well in time. And that being said, Flare is our second place winner, and really happy that you guys have, I think, come to this level.
Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. And then now, actually now, Nekesa, please take it away with number one.
Okay, great. I wouldn't keep everyone waiting too long. This was just really exciting for us. Like I think someone already said, it's not necessary that it's new, that we haven't seen before, because innovation can be revolutionary, but it can also be evolutionary. And so just what's a new fresh thing that you bring into the market? And so we felt that we saw this in this innovation, and also just the passion of the pitch was really lovely to see, and the impact that it has in the informal sector, which we know, especially because of the pandemic, that's such a critical space that we need to be looking at, because there's huge potential there to support the lives of communities. And so without much further ado, the winner for the Kenya leg is Kweza.
Woo! Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Super excited. Thank you for the opportunity.
I'm congratulations to our three winners, Green Innovation, Flare, and Kweza. You guys will be moving on to the next round. Wonderful. I'm going to be giving the floor back to Rhea.
Thank you, Steph, and thank you again, startups, for pitching today. They're all very diverse and amazing startups, as all the judges already mentioned. And even if you didn't win today, I hope that, or rather I welcome you officially to the She Loves Tech community. And we hope to continue to provide service and benefit and value to all of you. So although only the winner today will be moving on to the next leg of the competition, but our second place, our third place, as well as the other startups will be able to benefit from our network of investors, the curriculum that we're providing, mentorship, and so on. So I hope that you can all take advantage of this as well, and we will definitely be in touch with the next the next programs and the next round, etc. So thank you again, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you to our judges. Thank you to our partners, and thank you to our audience as well who's watching on Facebook and so on. So yeah, thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend.